Yeah, there's definitely been some panic over the past few days. You're expressing that there is concern for regional banks, smaller banks. Simply put, is people's money safe that are in these types of banks?
So yeah, I mean, well, number one, if it's FDIC insured, I mean that's that will be backed. And then the Fed setting the precedent now that even money that's uninsured that they would step in and help. So yes, cash in the bank would be insured, but what is not insured, and Biden mentioned it yesterday, are equity investors in these firms. So we saw the stocks for Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate, they both pretty much lost 100% of value. So yeah, if you owned their stocks, that's pretty much worthless. So that's really why we've seen the stock prices collapse, because no one wants to be caught holding the bag. You don't want to then, even if your actual cash is safe, if you are an equity investor in these firms, that obviously can go to zero as any other stock could be. So that's why kind of the concerns, are really, really, really being focused on. But it's interesting because there's still conflicting things. And I think it's very weird with banks. I've always thought bank stocks are it's always very weird with bank stocks, like, and it's funny of also when you see these notes from analysts who work at banks, and they're talking about banks, but that's a tangent. But what's very interesting too is you see these stocks go down. I mean, I think First Republic, which I mentioned before, but they were down roughly 70% over the prior 3 days, and now as we're talking, they're up roughly 50% today. So recovered a lot of the losses. But there was an interesting note from JP Morgan on First Republic saying, dramatic overreaction, yada, yada. It said it was their favorite bank stock pick. But that came as Moody's, the rating agency, said they're reevaluating um, First Republic and five other banks, reevaluating their credit rating. And also Moody's sent out a note today saying, downgrading their outlook for U.S. banking industry from stable to negative. So yeah, there's there's a heck of a lot to parse through there, and I think it depends a lot on who you ask about, where things stand moving forward.
I mean,